Grease duct fire protection with 3M 615 Plus duct wrap. First layer budded, second layer 3-inch overlap. ICC Evaluation Service Report Number ESR 1255. Adjacent blankets on the inside layer are installed with either tight butt joints between blankets or 3-inch perimeter and longitudinal overlaps. Regardless of which inner layer is used, the second layer of blanket material must have a minimum 3-inch perimeter and longitudinal overlap. This video depicts the first layer butted longitudinally and overlapping 3 inches at the perimeter joints. Reminder, it is permissible for the first layer longitudinal and perimeter joint to be a tight butt joint. Installation tools. Shown here are the typical tools needed for installing 615 Plus duct wrap. Personal protection equipment, knife, tape measure, banding tensioner, filament tape, FSK foil tape, tin snips, pliers. First layer installation. Measure around the bare duct and add approximately 12 inches to the overall measurement. This added length accounts for the additional material needed to wrap around the corners of the duct and overlap onto itself. Transfer the measurements to the 615 Plus duct wrap material and cut to length. Tape the exposed edges of the blanket with aluminum foil tape. Lay the first piece of 615 Plus duct wrap on the grease duct and secure the starting edge in place with filament tape. Wrap the duct wrap around the circumference of the duct and overlap past the starting edge a minimum 3 inches. Install the next piece of duct wrap around the grease duct with the material tightly abutting the adjacent piece of blanket along the whole longitudinal joint. Continue the process until the first layer is installed. Note, the first layer requires temporary fastening only. Steel banding is not required at the first layer. Second layer installation. Measure the circumference around the previously installed blanket layer and add 12 inches to the overall measurement. Cut the blanket to length and tape the cut edge. Install the first piece of the second layer of wrap around the first layer. Offset the second layer of wrap so the center line of the blanket coincides with the butted seam below. Temporarily attach the starting edge of the duct wrap with filament tape. Wrap the duct wrap around the circumference of the duct and overlap past the starting edge a minimum 3 inches. Secure the duct wrap in place with filament tape. Measure the circumference around the previously installed blanket and add 12 inches to the overall measurement. Cut the blanket to length and tape the cut edge. Install this piece of 615 Plus duct wrap around the grease duct, being sure to maintain a minimum 3-inch overlap at the longitudinal and transverse joints. Continue this process until the entire second layer is installed. Banding. Carbon steel or stainless steel banding is used to permanently fasten the duct wrap to the duct. The minimum width and thickness of the banding is 1/2 inch wide by 15 thousandths of an inch thick. Measure the circumference of the fully wrapped duct and add approximately 18 inches to accommodate the band installation. Pull out the required length of banding material and cut to length. Slide a wing seal onto the band and crimp the band material, securing the wing seal in place. Slide each band around the circumference of the duct wrap, locating the band 1.5 inches from each edge of the blanket and spaced maximum 10.5 inches on center. Pull the band through the wing seal and fold back to achieve a temporary hold. Using a tensioner, tighten each band securely and crimp the wing seal. Note, the band should not cut into the foil. Pin layout. If the duct width is greater than 24 inches, the duct wrap materials should be affixed on the bottom side by copper-coated impaling pins or steel cup head pins. A capacitor discharge gun is used to weld either copper-coated impaling pins or insulated cup head pins to the duct. Impaling pins are installed prior to the application of the duct wrap material. Cup head pins are installed after the duct wrap material is in place. Measure across the width of the duct and place marks maximum 12 inches on center. Then measure along the length of the duct and place marks maximum 10.5 inches on center. Chalk lines can be snapped to aid in locating the pins. Power up the capacitor discharge gun. Select the proper polarity and voltage for pin type and duct gauge. Fasten the grounding clamp onto the bare metal. Position the discharge gun onto the surface of the duct. Compress it against the duct and pull the trigger to fasten the pin. Repeat these steps until all of the pins are applied. Once the pins are installed, apply the Duct Wrap 615 Plus around the duct. Once the Duct Wrap material is impaled over the pins, apply a speed clip washer over the pins to permanently fasten the wrap in place. Bend the pins over or cut off the excess length.